Dear Senior 4s, I again welcome you in our today's entrepreneurship education lesson. It's going to be our lesson 3 for term 2, 2020. So in our previous lesson, we talked about importance of customer survey. Then we introduced computer survey and we discussed the meaning of computer survey and also looked at the importance of competitor information. So in today's lesson, we are going to look at the following. Number 1, we are going to explain computer product features. We shall look at examples of computer strengths and weaknesses. Then you look at what we call computer intelligence and profiling. And lastly, we shall look at the aims and importance of competitor analysis. So that's what we are going to discuss on in today's lesson. So let's look at the competitor product analysis. So we all know that competition arises when companies or businesses produce similar products. That's when competition arises. So a competitive analysis includes competitor analysis, rather product analysis. So competitors' products are analyzed in terms of the following. So if you want to look at the competitors' products when you are carrying out product analysis, we base on the following. 1, we look at the product features. 2, look at the product's key strengths. 3, we look at the product's key weaknesses. We look at the product's opportunities. We look at the threats to the product. We look at the customer's perception of the product and how the product is marketed and distributed. So those are the elements that are focused on when carrying out product analysis or competitor product analysis. So let's try to look at competitor strengths and weaknesses. We all know what strengths is and what weaknesses are. So the strengths, those are the best part of us, and then the weaknesses, those are the faults that we may be having. So when you relate that to competition in the market, so the strengths of a given businesses are its ability to do better, and then weakness, those are the areas where they have to improve. So it is important to understand the strengths and weaknesses of the competitors. It is important to be objective, like when you're carrying out the computer product analysis. So otherwise, if you are biased and do not want to admit the strengths of your competitor, you will not be able to deal with the competition. So you have to admit the strengths of the competitor in order to be able to deal with the competition. So while it is easier to find the strengths of the competitor and the products, it is always very difficult to get the weaknesses. But if you conduct a survey, interview customers, you'll be able to get the right information. So this one, we are going to try it out in the activity that I posted on Google Classroom. You do it yourselves and see the results that you will come up with. So some of the weaknesses and strengths of the competition. When you look at the competitor strengths, for instance, we may have a big network of distributors. We may have good supply of raw materials. We may have highly skilled employees, among others. So you may also give other examples of computer strengths. So we have identified the big network of distributors, a good supply of raw materials, and then employing highly skilled workers. So that one can be a strength. And then on the other side of the weakness of the competitor can be poor packaging, regular product shortages, and then the location may be far from the reach of the customers. So those can be some of the weaknesses. So now we are going to look at also what we call competitor intelligence. Remember, we discussed customer profiling, and we looked at things like data collection from customers. So now we are going to also to look at something somehow related to customer data collection or customer intelligence, and this is the competitor intelligence. So competitor intelligence is basically the practice of gathering information about competitors. Remember, for customer, we said it is customer survey, and now we are looking at the competitor survey, and under competitor survey now we can talk about what you call competitor intelligence. So intelligence, just as it sounds, it means collecting information about something, or being aware about existence of something by having clear information about it. So if you are keen enough, you can note that businesses launch new products, and when they launch new products, it is always easy to also see other companies launching almost the same products at almost the same time. So that cannot happen just by mistake or by coincidence. So in most cases, it is because competing firms may have a keen interest in knowing about what other companies are doing by collecting information or carrying out what we call competitor intelligence on them. So that is, you can take examples of the telecom companies in Rwanda, for instance, the MTN, Airtel. So normally they come up with similar products at almost the same time. So that shows that at least each of those companies know exactly what the other one is up to at real time. Okay, so when carrying out computer intelligence, we may focus on the following information. One, yearly or monthly sales and profits. So if there is a competitor, another company may wish to know the monthly sales and the profits generated by the competing company, and then the top selling brands and their total sales. So companies may need to know the top selling brands of their competitors, and then the total sales generated from those brands. So we also have market share. So market share is like the amount of customers that a given company serves. So a competing company may wish to know how many customers are attracted to a certain company or product of a given competing company. Then we also have advertising strategy and spending. So when you look at competing companies, they need to know how other companies are advertising and the strategies they are using, and even how much money they are spending on advertising, so that now they may be able also to adopt strategies which can outcompete them, or be better, or employ better strategies to outcompete them. Then we can also talk about a producer, rather computer intelligence also focuses on the distribution costs. So they need to know how much money they spend on distributing their products. Okay, then we have what we call competitor profiling. We looked at the customer profiling in our lesson 1. So competitor profiling as a part of competitor survey, we know what profiling is. So the process of identifying and recording certain kinds of data about the competitor is what we call competitor profiling. So you identify certain information that you are interested in, and then you record it down. So that one can help you maybe in finding strategies that can help your product to outcompete those substitute products, and maybe making wise decisions. So competitor profiling would normally contain the following categories of information. So we have the background information, we have business location or head office and branches, if any. We have form of business organization. So forms of business organization, you remember we can have, say, partnership, we can have sole proprietors, it can be a joint venture, or any other form of legal ownership of business. And what may also contain in this is ownership, that is, who are the shareholders or who are the partners, among others. Okay, the main objectives of doing competitor analysis can be summarized as follows. So we have to study the market, for example, to determine the target customers. So we talked about target customers. So by studying the market, the producer or the seller may be able to determine who the customers for that product are in comparison to the competitors. Then to predict and forecast organizations' demand and supply. So by carrying out competitor analysis, a certain organization may be able to determine its future demands and supplies. Yet formulate strategies for marketing through competitor analysis. An organization or an enterprise is able to formulate strategies that it can use to carry out marketing and the publicity of its commodities, to increase the market share or be able to get more clients to buy the products. So by carrying out computer analysis, you saw that you may know the weaknesses and the strengths. So you may capitalize on that to improve on how you can attract customers to buy the products from your organization or from your business. Then to study the market trend and pattern. By studying the market trend and pattern, the businesses are able to know the volatility of the market and what the volatility brings about. So you know that some commodities are demanded at maybe specific periods of the year. So through carrying out competitor analysis, such information can be got, and now a certain business may adjust accordingly. For example, when to put more products on the market and when to reduce the supply so as not to waste resources. To develop strategy for organization growth. So developing strategies for organization growth. So you know, organizations grow either externally or internally. So an example of an external growth is through what you call franchise. And franchise is when a company allows other businesses to sell its products but under its name. For example, you see the mobile money shop dealers in all places in Rwanda, but those they are selling MTN product or mobile money for MTN. So MTN allows other people to market its product. So in that case, MTN is expanding or it's growing. And then there's the internal growth can be through the same company producing, say, a variety of products and having different branches in different corners of the country. So by carrying out computer analysis, it enables a country, a business to find strategies that it can use to grow. Then to study the forthcoming trends in the industry. So an industry in this case, it refers to all producers of certain product put together. We can refer to them as an industry. For instance, hoteliers, or all hotels in Rwanda, we can call them hotel industry of Rwanda. So by studying competitor analysis, these businesses, they are able to foretell or to know the forthcoming trends in their industry, or what others are likely to change, or what others are likely to do better than them. And then another thing that we may talk about is understanding the current strategy, strengths and weaknesses of competitors. So by carrying out computer analysis, a given business organization may be able to know the current strategies that other companies are using, and then it is able to know the strengths of those competitors as well as their weaknesses. So this information can help them to take decisions. So the importance of computer analysis, we may highlight some of the following. Number one, computer analysis helps the business identify market gaps for products, services, and initiatives. So this helps the business produce the products that fill the identified gaps. So remember when you, in term one, we talked about the meaning of entrepreneurship. We said it involves identifying gaps which can be filled by producing goods and services for sale. So by carrying out computer analysis, some other gaps may be identified in the market which other competitors are not exploiting. Then it can enable the business to take advantage of those gaps and introduce even products better than the ones they are producing before, or introduce other products to diversify in order to have more revenues generated from sales. Then two, to help the management of a business enterprise understand their competitive advantage and disadvantage in comparison to competitors and plan accordingly. So this is what you call competitive advantage and competitive disadvantage. So a competitive advantage refers to those benefits that may come to a business and then they do not go to other businesses, or a situation where a certain business has some uniqueness and that uniqueness helps it to generate revenues, and then other businesses do not have such uniqueness. So you can take an example of, say, appliances. For instance, let's take an example of the Apple products and maybe the Android phones, or Apple phones and Android phones. So Apple products, for instance, if you have an Apple computer, you don't have to put their antivirus. So not putting antivirus on the computer, that one is a competitive advantage to Apple. However, other computers, you need to use antivirus. So now having producing a computer which needs antivirus, it can be a disadvantage to other computer producing companies as compared to Apple, which does not need whose product does not need to use antivirus. So that one is an example that I can give. So by carrying out computer analysis, you are able to know the competitive advantage of your product or business and the competitive disadvantage. So other businesses may have a better thing than you, or you may have something better than them, but yet you are producing the same product. So computer analysis helps businesses to identify such circumstances. And then we also have that it gives business ideas for new technology and the methodology that could be applied within the organization. This can be generated by understanding what competitors are using. So by carrying out computer analysis, it may give a certain business ideas on which technologies other businesses are using and the production methods that they are using, so to compare them with the current methods and technology that are being used in the business. So you may find that some methods are more efficient and than others, or they are less costly, or they produce better quality goods. Okay, to continue, we have that competitive analysis gives the awareness of threats and managing risks. Threats mainly arise from the competitors as they start offering new products. So by carrying out competitor analysis, a business is able to know the threats which are being posed by other businesses that produce the same products, and that can give chance to that business to see how it can manage the risk, how it can manage that situation. Then it determines the purchasers, or it illustrates what they are expecting from the delivery of products or services to be successful. So determining the purchasers, like if you carry out computer analysis, you look at the customers of your competitors, like what they buy from them and why they buy it. So in that case, you are able to know the services and the products that they buy most from the competitors, and perhaps you may also be able to deliver such products to them, and you change maybe their patterns of buying and also come to your business. Then lastly, to generate understanding of competitors past, present, and perhaps the future. So by carrying out computer analysis, a business is able to know the history of the competitor in terms of what it did in the past, what it is doing at the current time, and what it is likely to do in the future. So that one enables, that information helps the business also to come up with strategies which can enable it also to survive for a long period in the market if it knows the history of the competitors.